On Sunday, I had the opportunity to speak with Phoenix Mercury head coach Nate Tibbetts about his desired shot profile for both of Kahleah Copper and Satou Sabally. Before we get to the part with Nate that apparently sparked a lot of conversations on social media, I'll preface with where my question for Nate stemmed from with my conversation that I spoke with Kahleah Copper about on Media Day. 2023 with this guy. We had a conversation about the way defense has shifted to giving you longer closeouts. Can you speak to how important the three-point shot is to your profile and the quick decisions to catch, shoot, or drive in that, with your profile this season?
Well, I guess I gotta give it to Nate, huh? I came here and I like to play in the midi. Like I like to get to the rim, but like I like to get to my midi. So I guess I was a little delulu about the three. So Nate was just like rim and three, and I'm like, all right. Early on it was a little tough for me, but I just kind of bought in. Like shout out to Preston, where you at, P? They showed me the numbers. They're just telling me how it can elevate my game and the things that would change. So I just kind of bought into it and worked at it. It's just getting in the gym and working on my finishes and then just shooting that three consistently. And I just see the difference in, the numbers. The numbers show it from 2023 to 2024. It was about getting more threes up for me. And then it just also changed my points per game. So rim and three, you said rim and three? I got you. No manure strips.
So my question, which stemmed from my conversation I had with Kahleah in 2023, was it was during her career best season from deep so far. And she was at 40%, 40.8% on 4.5 3-point attempts that season in particular. And because of that, and watching her games and watching the film over the course of that season, you can see the way that defenses would usually concede 3-point opportunities to her. So now they were putting their foot on the 3-point line and just outright running her off of that shot, which in turn unlocked more ability for her to play in that mid-range off of the closeouts that she was getting, also to get to the basket and just kind of play in that in-between game and get to her footwork around the paint and around the rim and play through contact. All of those great qualities that make her the best slasher in the WNBA. That 3-point evolution and the growth there in terms of skill development shifted things for her. And that's what prompted me to ask the question to Nate Tibbetts that I did on Sunday at practice. But it wasn't just to Kahleah Copper. It was also in relation to Satou Sabally, who last season, albeit she played only post-All-Star break, she shot 45% from deep on 5.5 attempts. And for the Mercury to get to where they want to be at offensively this season, in particular with Kahleah and Satou, they need both of those two to stay in the same ballpark of Kahleah shooting 40% on 4.5 attempts and Satou shooting 45% on 5.5 attempts, or both of them maybe taking the slightest bit of a downtick on efficiency, but upping that volume by about 1 or 2 more attempts for their team shot profile to look like what Nate Tibbetts is speaking to what he desires to wanting to see more. And this is the question that I posed to him on Sunday at practice. Satou and Kahleah be guarded a little differently the last couple of years coming into this season.
Yeah.
What have been the conversations with you about their individual shot profiles?
Yeah, the good thing with having Kai here a year ago, she understands what we want. Satou is doing a good job. I think it helps playing with someone like AT, right? She's going to create threes for you. I can count on one hand the number of mid-range shots that Satou has taken since she's been here. So that makes me happy. She's doing a good job getting to the rim. She's in great shape. She's physical. She's big. They're going to take some mid-ranges late in the clock, hopefully. In the playoffs, those types of things. But they both have a good understanding of what we're looking for.
So it seems like from the reactions that I saw on social media stemming from the video being posted to Twitter in particular, it feels like things kind of got lost in I don't know if necessarily translation is the word, but it feels like what Nate was speaking to kind of got, I guess, lost, literally lost, honestly, because the way people were reacting to it made it seem like he said he's just absolutely anti mid-range jump shot. Yes, he favors 3-point volume and 3-point attempts over middies because for the simple math, you have to make your twos at a certain percentage for it to have the same type of hit and impact that a 3-point shot could and would. Just the way that math works in the evolved WNBA and how scoring and the valuing of 3-point shots is. And to the valuing of 3-point shots part, that goes back to my point with Kahleah shooting 40% on 4.5 attempts in 2023, and then in 2024, Satou shooting 4.5 or 45% on 5.5 attempts a game. He wants that volume from those two, and he wants for their process to be thinking, okay, let's get this 3-point shot and the threat of it to be something that in dynamic we can in turn play off of. He's wanting to generate as many catch and shoot 3-point opportunities as possible, and it's going to stem from Alyssa Thomas, Kahleah Copper, and Satou Sabally all being able to go and get a piece of the paint whenever they want to, whether it be post-ups, pick and roll, isolation, off of cuts, all of the myriad of ways that each of those three can do so. He's going to be valuing the paint touch, then in succession setting up catch and shoot 3-point opportunities in particular. Now, naturally, if Kahleah's at that 40% mark on 4.5 or more attempts, and Satou's at 45% on 5.5 or more attempts, defenses are going to have to close out to them in the respects that the lens that I've been asking these questions to those two about. That, in turn, is going to unlock both of those two being able to play to their slashing strengths, which is going to give them access to play downhill off of a closeout. And in those scenarios, as a defense is rotating, for one, they're going to generate catch and shoot 3-point opportunities because it's going to trigger a defense to have to help the helper if they're getting blown by on the perimeter because of the respect and the urgency that the closeouts for north of 40% 3-point shooters is going to garner. Also, on the other end of that is those two being able to then play downhill, get to their middies, and then the last big part of it is them catch and shoot 3-point opportunities that they'll be able to create for others in second drives and third drives and after driving after someone else drives, those type of scenarios. These are the types of triggers that he's hoping to play through, but you can't get to the portion that they might want to get to at the end of the season with their shot profile in terms of them, yes, having middies banked into their process, but also still having taken the threes that are generated or that are opportune for them, but also being able to have the threat of that shot play into the defense and how the defense is going to look to want to guard them. I think that things are kind of dominoes in respect to what Nate is speaking to. He wants one thing to lead into the other and then another thing to lead into the other so that they can get the whole breadth of their shot profile individually to hit for the team in the ways in which they need to. And then lastly, to kind of close things out, I think the big thing in all of it is that he wants them to have a specific style of play in mind to then be able to get to the playoffs, have all of this tape where teams are going to be trying to guard you specific ways because they've seen the way you've been playing all season long. And now, in addition to that, you can also go back to playing to your strengths more frequently and more often. And I think that's going to then help the team ecosystem that he's trying to establish with the top end talent in particular that he has to help for the pieces to kind of fit together a little bit better and kind of keep defenses in compromise more often than if things were maybe a little bit more balanced in terms of threes and middies. So I don't think the midi shot is completely eradicated from their shot profile in any capacity. Quite honestly, if we peel the curtain back, I go to Mercury practice today, and by the time media is allowed to go in to see a little bit of practice before talking to the players that are available, very first shot that I see, Satou Sabally in the middle of the shot clock, getting into a one-dribble midi pull-up. And I'm like, the irony of that stemming from all of the conversations that we've been seeing on Twitter for the last 24 hours. So let us know what you think about that. What are your expectations for the Mercury this season? What are your thoughts on Kahleah's response to the question that I posed about her individual shot profile, as well as head coach Nate Tibbetts? And how do you think all of that is going to come together for this team to get to where they desire to be this season? Appreciate y'all tapping in. New PHNX Mercury podcast coming to you this upcoming Thursday at 11 a.m. So be locked in for that. Me and Erica got you covered. And until then, the Mercury have their first preseason game tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So be locked in for that. Like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as our Twitter profile over at PHNX_Mercury. This is your host, Stephen PridGeon-Garner. My ad is Stephen PG3, and we'll talk to you soon.